a few months ago, there were dire predictions and all kind of prognosis that the country would have run out of food, etc., etc. And people were even calling for us to import more in the face of the drought that we experience. But thanks to God, we ride it out, we survive. Thanks to the resilience of our farmers, and we thank God for the mercies, the wonderful showers of blessing that we have been having over the last couple of months, and we survived the drought. And this is to tell us, ladies and gentlemen, that we can't have a knee-jerk reaction to these things. We have to trust the farmers of this country. And I'm particularly pleased that we are in Manchester, because in the heights of the drought, between April and June, the agriculture sector did in fact grow by about 5%. And it is thanks largely to the parish of Manchester with the massive expansion in Irish potato and with the production in a place called New Forest. And I commend everybody in this parish to go to New Forest and look at the agri park there and see what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eat Jamaica campaign remains relevant even after 11 years. And frankly speaking, it will be relevant until we have broken the back of our food imports. I think since the start of the campaign we have done well, and I think we should spend some time and do the proper analysis, because people in this country don't spend time to do analysis objectively and dispassionately. But everybody run up their mouth and chat all kind of things. Okay? Senator Grant is correct, and I want to emphasize it. We cannot measure the progress of our food security campaign and our Eat What We Grow campaign by dollar figures in terms of imports. If you look in terms of quantity, the imports are going down. The reason why the dollar value is rising or remaining about $1 billion is because even the little that we are importing, the prices from whence we are importing the things have gone up. So even the whole thing about chicken back that has taken the country by storm over the last week, the newspaper highlighted the fact that the value has gone up. But the objective facts that I have written down here, the physical quantity in terms of kilograms of chicken back imported in this country has gone down, right? So we are making tremendous progress. Since the campaign, we can boast that we are self-sufficient in chicken meat. The reason why we import chicken back is not because we don't have the capacity to produce chicken, you know. It is because, and we have to be very dispassionate about this and less emotive. The truth is, there is a cross-section of people in this country. We would that we eliminate that thing called poverty. But we are all church people, and the Bible says the poor will always have with us. There is a cross-section of people in this country that can only afford chicken back. And while some of us who are more fortunate will be going home to steak and roast beef and all that kind of thing, a large cross-section of Jamaica today is a pound of curry chicken back with Irish potato cut up in it to stretch. That's a fact. You cannot reverse that in 1 year. You have to spend time and grow the economy so that people can earn more, so that they can afford our local chicken, which unfortunately is a little bit more expensive. And let me say this. If we're going to succeed in this food security campaign, everybody has to recognize a small country like Jamaica, with perhaps less than 200,000 hectares of land engaged in production, Our typical farmer who feeds us is on a half a acre on a steep hill that cannot be mechanized. We are never ever going to be competitive with the United States farmer or the farmer from Latin America, where one farm in those countries could occupy up to 5,000 acres. We will never. But we have to recognize that for our own survival, we have to spend a little bit more to support the Jamaican farmer. It comes at a price. So we can't say that we want local and we don't want imports, but we are not prepared to spend a little bit more. Because let me tell you this, $1 that is spent in agriculture is $1 that has a greater multiplier effect than any other sector in the economy, and I said that without fear of contradiction. I come from a sugarcane community, and I know in Veer, when crop is on, the whole South Clarendon is transformed on a payday in Lionel Town, or in Savlamar, or in Clarkstown, or wherever sugar is grown. And when that money drops in crop, attendance in school is more consistent and higher. People who trust people, goods in shops, in the corner shop, can finally pay their debt. The taxi man smiles, the dressmaker smile, people plan their wedding around that time. Even the church offering is better. So we have to understand the link between this food security and rural development. But let me say one final thing, and we have to understand what we're about. Mr. Michael Mann wrote a book a few years ago called Up the Down Escalator. And if you ever try to go up an escalator that's coming down, it takes more energy and you have to be more purposeful and deliberate. What are we up against with this food security campaign and this Eat What You Grow? We're up against decades of indoctrination by cable TV, and sometimes we measure our prosperity by the amount of Burger King stores in Jamaica, and the amount of Kentucky stores, and the amount of cable TV. You know, a certain colleague of mine was on the TV once, and his daughter went to school, and the schoolmate said to the daughter, "Oh, I saw your dad on TV last night on the news." The daughter's response to her classmate was, "Oh, you watch local TV?" Yeah, because the proliferation of cable and social media, what it is doing, and we don't know it, and we don't recognize it, is to indoctrinate us and help us to develop patterns of consumption that are not consistent with our production. And so you have people in Kingston that tell you that on a Friday evening, they must take their children to Burger King. And it is a sign of affluence. Well, for me, the greatest joy is to go home and eat my yam and my pumpkin and all the local foods. So that is one tide that we are fighting against. The other tide is equally powerful, because for a long time, the powers that be, the IMFs and the World Bank and all of those guys, and I can say that now without offending anybody, because they have repented and they have confessed that they have erred, were telling us, "Oh, you guys in the tropics just smile and invite tourists and stick to services and play music and run. And you import the cheap food from abroad." Until we were shocked into reality in 2008, in the world food crisis, where food prices internationally went up. And what was the first reaction of those who were aiding and abetting us to import? Their first reaction was to lock down exports, because they have to protect themselves first. And so we became vulnerable, and we ran the risk at the time of not being able to import grains and those things that we love so much. So those are the two tides we are fighting against. The other local thing that I want to speak to very quickly is that we are only going to make an appreciable difference in increasing local production, make that quantum leap, when we fix the structural issues in agriculture. Again, we speak to the 220,000 farmers, and we salute them because we take for granted when we go to Mandeville Market or Coronation Market to buy food. They are the ones who put the food there. But if we're going to make that quantum leap, that qualitative difference to increase productivity, we need to reorganize and restructure agriculture. And in that context, I am commending to the entire Jamaica, let us rally around these agri-parks. Go down to New Forest, Duff House, just a few miles from here, where guys have their little half-acre plot. Unlike Kingston people who put flowers in their lawns, those guys put onion in their lawns and scallion. And we have put irrigation there, and we have put all the facilities that make for sustainable agriculture. Go down there and you will see the transformation. And one of my disappointments is that people are walking up and down Badmouth in Agri-Park. People who Roger Clark would say don't even know the difference between sweet potato and white yam. And just badmouthing the thing. Give it a chance. Believe you me, if agriculture is going to be sustainable, the agri-park is a viable and perhaps, based on the means that we have, the only alternative. Because what we are trying to do there is to put in the facilities that can defeat drought. New Forest prospered and increased production despite the drought because they had irrigation. We have to link the market with the production so that people don't call CVM and say that we want justice because they cannot sell what they produce. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not a time to tear down. If we are serious about food security, it's a time when the entire country must come. We need all hands on deck so that we can make that big difference. God bless you.